Atlantis, an ancient utopia, disappeared 9,000 years ago, leaving us in everlasting awe. As we discover traces of an advanced, vanished society potentially related to Atlantis, doubts arise regarding its early demise and devastating catastrophe. Is there a relationship between these civilizations? What more hidden beauties exist under the ocean's surface, waiting for us to discover them? Join us as we uncover what's so fascinating about the remains of Atlantis that have just been discovered on the ocean floor. Remains of Atlantis discovered and its mysterious location. The greatest mystery that all scientists face is the whereabouts of Atlantis. According to the narrations, the city is thought to have sunk into the sea due to an earthquake or tsunami. He described Atlantis as a vast island near the Rock of Gibraltar, including a Poseidon statue, circular walls, and waterways. Plato said the city under the sea should have been in the Atlantic Ocean. However, technology has yet to show the existence of such a village on the ocean bed. While some hypotheses stated that Atlantis was located in the Mediterranean, off the coast of Spain, others maintained that it may be much deeper beneath Antarctica. For a long time, the Azores were considered Atlantis's home. However, a recent study has discovered a new location, and experts are confident that Atlantis may be found around Cadiz, between Spain and Morocco. The level of integrity in this narrative is a mystery unto itself. Questions about Atlantis's location and existence remain unsolved. However, until the reality underneath it is fully revealed, the world will continue to speculate about the existence of the greatest metropolis ever. The lost civilization is usually called the Atlanteans, which seems odd given the vast research. Why would this organization go so far and wide in search of global dominance? The story we've been told says they live on a single mythical continent where people have been hunting for over 2,500 years. Unsurprisingly, the academic community strongly opposes any proof of this ancient culture or its effect on a now lost segment of human civilization. But wait, there could be a hint that supports our arguments. Despite academic rejection, academics and intellectuals worldwide have spent centuries delving into the Atlantis enigma. They've proposed many explanations and personal beliefs concerning its previous position. The concept that it is on a single continent has been a popular theory, but it is an effective red herring. It sent many talented investigators down an unavoidable dead-end route. In his discussion of the enigmatic underwater kingdom, Plato stated that the ocean was navigable at the time because, as the Greeks refer to it, an island larger than Asia and Libya lay in front of the mouth containing the Pillars of Heracles. Travelers at the time could travel from this island to the other islands and from the islands to the entire continent that surrounded this ocean. Tertullian, an early Christian author who thought Atlantis previously existed in the Atlantic Ocean, agreed with Plato that the island would be larger than the combined landmass of Libya and Asia. Since many others advocated locating Atlantis in the Mediterranean Sea, narratives have been created that scale the metropolis to Crete, Greece's biggest island. However, in numerous accounts following Plato's age, Atlantis was represented as a gigantic metropolis with no specifics concerning its size. Edgar Cayce, an American Christian mystic, proposed that Atlantis and Eurasia were comparable in size. Ken Fetter, an archaeology professor, shared some outlandish theories about Atlantis in his book Frauds, Myths, and Mysteries, Science and Pseudoscience in Archaeology. He described the Atlanteans as smart villains bent on ruling the planet via brutal force. Imagine them as the villains in an action film about ancient civilizations. Olaf was a Swedish scholar and writer who lived between 1679 and 1702. He wrote a 3,000-page Atlantic dissertation, published in 4 volumes. In this literary adventure, Olaf attempts to persuade us that Sweden was Atlantis's original cradle of civilization. He argues that all human languages developed from Swedish. It's a mind-boggling hypothesis. We're not putting our whole support behind it, but it's too odd not to mention. Whether you believe the Atlanteans came from Sweden or somewhere else, one thing is certain. They were not simply chilling on a single mysterious land that chose to plunge into the abyss. No, according to our analysis, These people were spread out all over the world. How do we know? Our noses have been deep in old ruins worldwide, making linkages left and right. We're discussing technical parallels, construction approaches that raise eyebrows, and architectural advancements defying understanding. It's like a giant jigsaw, with each ruin serving as a piece in the larger picture of the Atlantean narrative. So, brace up. For the more we dig, the more we discover. And who knows what surprises these old bad boys have in store for us. The adventure has only just begun, my friend. Following a comprehensive examination, we came to the exciting conclusion that the superior technology used to build ancient structures was not invented separately by several people. Instead, they were distributed as if a dominant power extended its influence over continents. The fashions may differ, and there are minor variations in building processes, but the common thread is obvious. Our findings have left little room for debate. Clear and indisputable ties exist between the technology utilized to build these complex ancient structures. Consider the enigmatic tool marks discovered on megaliths that appear identical in many sites. Even the procedures used, such as using metal clamps, which differ in shape and metallurgy, indicate a common knowledge base among the builders. What's more fascinating is our developing confidence that this common technological knowledge is consistent with what we now perceive to be the Atlantean identity. A governing class, or controlling power, held the keys to these developments. According to historical documents, the Atlanteans are the only logical suspects in the ancient world for technical domination. Our reasoning holds up despite researchers focusing their search on a certain region. Surprisingly, a key historical image emerges from a Mayan plaque, establishing an unmistakable link to the fall of this legendary great society. According to the image, they faced extinction due to a supervolcanic eruption, with the resulting flood providing a fascinating piece of the puzzle that enhances our argument for the Atlanteans' historical presence and technical impact. We have a notion that seems quite sensible. Atlantis was destroyed in a worldwide disaster. But here's the twist. Atlantis was more than just a single peninsula. It represented their pre-Diluvian world, a globally sophisticated society. Our tireless study confirms the existence of a civilization that exactly fits the description. Throughout history, some of the greatest philosophers have given us signs pointing to the potential of this globally enlightened civilization. Consider this scenario. A major volcanic eruption occurs, caused by natural surges in solar energy, resulting in a type of sun-induced chaos that could be a recurrent characteristic of our own sun's nature. When this gigantic ash cloud envelopes the Earth, there will be utter darkness for who knows how long, possibly triggering an ice age. However, shortly before the temperature plummets, there is a massive increase in global heat caused by volcanic fireworks. Consider the ice caps melting rapidly, drowning the planet in a rush. That is how tales about Atlantis drowning and the biblical deluge began. It's the ultimate narrative twist in a catastrophe film. Our idea connects the connections between the destruction of Atlantis and these epic natural catastrophes. So, when you read about Atlantis sinking, think about a global civilization experiencing natural disasters rather than a single location on a map. The action develops with volcano eruptions, a darkened globe, and a swift flood, creating an epic tragedy that might be the hidden narrative of Atlantis' mythological collapse. Let's look at this incredible creative picture that has stood the test of time. A Mayan artist created it to capture an epic event. Consider a massive volcano exploding, causing devastation, and a lone individual in a boat paddling desperately away. The water is turning a deep blue, surrounded by scenes of drowning, a sinking continent, and ancient pyramids submerged beneath the waves. The artist named this buried continent Ask the Land, which translates as Atlantis in English. Our idea puts a wrench into the Atlantis story. It's not just one continent facing extinction, it's a whole advanced civilization, a planet sinking and profoundly altering itself. This hypothesis receives traction from a nugget left by the ancient philosopher Plato. According to him, and even in Greek mythology, Atlantis was more than simply a dot on a map. It was a global empire that met its tragic end. Imagine the world as they knew it was sinking and reconstructing instantly, with spectacular melting and freezing taking place in weeks, if not days. It's a scenario that fits with the Mayan artist's depiction of a frantic escape, drowning, and sinking of a place named Atlantis. The pieces are coming into place, implying that the calamity was not simply local but worldwide, altering the whole structure of a sophisticated society. It's like peeling back the layers of a riveting mystery, with each clue revealing a new and intriguing twist to the narrative of Atlantis. According to legend, Poseidon, the god of the sea, storms, and earthquakes, created the city of Atlantis after falling in love with a mortal lady named Cleito. He built a city on top of a hill on a remote sea island named Atlantis to protect her. According to the narrative, Poseidon journeyed across the world looking for the largest island until he came across Atlantis, which was inhabited by more beautiful and clever people than the rest. There he met and fell in love with Cleito. The beautiful abode Poseidon built for his love in the city of Atlantis was encircled by rings of water and land. The 5 rounds of water were connected to the earth by 5 tunnels, and a massive canal connected the outer rings of water to the ocean. The tunnels could hold ships, and gates and towers controlled every approach into the city. Furthermore, the wall encircling the rings was constructed from red, white, and black sandstone, and embellished with precious metals. Meanwhile, there was another hill known as the Hill of Cleito, where Poseidon is said to have captured his bride because he questioned her fidelity. Huge moats and pillars around this mountaintop. According to the story, Cleito and Poseidon produced 5 pairs of twin boys. The eldest of them was called Atlas. The 10 sons inherited the huge metropolis, with the first child, Atlas, becoming the first king of Atlantis. However, it is thought that they also constructed a huge temple for their father, complete with a colossal figure of Poseidon, riding a chariot drawn by winged horses. The statue was entirely made of gold and was set in a temple with a spiral dome so high that clouds floated through it. Let us solve the mystery of Atlantis, a realm protected by the sea god Poseidon, who for unknown reasons elected his son Atlas as its ruler. Plato's story is more than a myth. It's a hint, a key to comprehending Atlantis and the fate of the entire pre-Diluvian world. Dive into the wordplay and you'll discover a fascinating connection. Atlas, the main figure, has a linguistic resemblance to Atlantis, but that's not all. The moniker is still used today to refer to maps that define our continents and oceans. Is it a coincidence, or may it be a subtle recognition by Plato, implying an understanding of the Atlanteans' fate? Poseidon, the god of the sea and earthquakes, dealt Atlantis a mysterious destiny. Could we not have located this legendary continent because we've already discovered evidence of its existence? We frequently see advanced ancient remains and relics above the waters, presenting a riveting story. Aside from the famous pyramids, which we now know were submerged beneath the water, numerous more intriguing remains have this trait. Every time we dive into an inexplicably advanced old ruin, we may be peeking into the relics of the Atlanteans' existence. Were they the architects of these structures, the bearers of wisdom now lost to time? Legends speak of their death at the hands of a great flood, and the evidence we find corroborates this view with compelling force. Take a time to think about the consequences. These remains, sprinkled throughout the world, might represent the remnants of a once thriving society with Atlantis serving as its epicenter. The Atlanteans themselves might have been the ones who taught this old wisdom. Their tragic demise, a devastating flood, is echoed in the stories of many nations. It is a story woven into the fabric of history, waiting for us to join the dots. Consider solving the mysteries of ancient monuments, each providing a peek into the sophisticated understanding of a society lost to time. Aren't the underwater city of Dwarka, the sunken Yonaguni monument, and the buried buildings off the coast of Cuba echoes of Atlantis, mute testaments to a once thriving civilization? The tale becomes more complex and compelling as we fit together the jigsaw. Atlantis becomes more than a myth. It becomes a path to comprehending our past. Our desire to study and grasp this evidence of the past is a voyage to recover the legacy of the Atlanteans, a civilization whose impact reverberates through time and is preserved in the same ruins we are uncovering. Submerged ruins are sometimes dismissed as ancient mysteries because of their closeness to islands and continental regions. Although possibly holding the key to unlocking our history, such buildings are sometimes dismissed as insignificant remains from a few thousand years ago. The unwillingness to investigate their importance might originate from a wish to avoid controversy and the ensuing chain of difficult inquiries. However, the next part of our research may reveal another set of submerged ruins, and probably the most important find, the smoking gun. Our voyage brings us to the discovery made on May 19, 2001, by India's Union Minister for Science and Technology, Murli Manohar Joshi. The revelation caused shockwaves through the archaeological community, as relics of an ancient civilization were unearthed off the coast of Gujarat in the Gulf of Khambhat. The results, discovered by the National Institute for Ocean Equipment, utilizing sonar equipment, are currently hotly discussed as indisputably pre-Ice Age, yet displaying sophisticated traits. Joshi reported a scene with regularly spaced artificial constructions that stretched 20 kilometers from the Gujarat coast and covered an astonishing 9 kilometers. This submerged village predates even the well-known Indus Valley civilization, contributing to our knowledge of early human existence. Joshi's extensive descriptions highlight the various structures, including homes, a granary, a spa, a fortress, and a drainage system resembling advanced urban planning. However, the Gulf of Khambhat cultural complex, like many great findings, is subject to controversy. The structures and artifacts uncovered have been a source of discussion, with major disagreements centering on assertions concerning the presence of a submerged metropolis. The arguments heat up, with specialists and intellectuals studying the data and interpretations to determine the legitimacy and importance of this extraordinary discovery. Despite mistrust and various viewpoints, the Gulf of Khambhat is a captivating riddle waiting to be solved. Could this be the smoking gun, unmistakable evidence of a sophisticated society operating in a region drowned by time? The discovery calls into question our traditional view of ancient history, prompting a reassessment of the time frames and capacities of early human communities. As we explore the complexity of the Gulf of Khambhat cultural complex, we begin on a trip beyond conventional narratives. The underwater ruins have the potential to alter history, providing a peek into a past that may be more complicated and sophisticated than we previously understood. The journey for knowledge continues, driven by a desire to uncover the mysteries hidden beneath the waves and the bravery to tackle the debates that develop along the way. The excavation of ancient submerged cities has unique obstacles, including the inability to link dated artifacts with the location and ongoing debates over the nature of retrieved stone artifacts. One major topic of debate is whether these items are real archaeological discoveries or natural formations geofacts. Critics say that the items were collected by dredging rather than regulated archaeological excavation, calling into question the accuracy of dating and interpretation. This, along with the possibility that full excavation may never occur, leads to a contemptuous attitude within academics, characterizing this ancient city as a mystery or anomaly. However, such disbelief appears unreasonable, considering the supporting evidence revealing the accidental discovery of an ancient city while dredging in the Gulf of Khambhat. Despite its obstacles, marine archaeology provides a captivating image that encourages us to reevaluate our knowledge of the past. Meanwhile, oil company divers in the North Sea discovered the remnants of another ancient city that had been submerged. This sprawling city runs from the United Kingdom to Denmark, implying a large population of tens of thousands. The collaboration of climatologists, geologists, and geophysicists has revealed the breadth of this vanished area, creating a vivid image of what was once Europe's actual heartland. This massive civilization, which dates back around 8,000 years, was progressively buried over many thousand years, beginning around 20,000 years ago. Dr. Richard Bates, who leads the Department of Earth Sciences at St. Andrews, was instrumental in organizing the Drowned Landscapes exhibition in the United Kingdom. The display featured finds that shed light on the human tale of the now submerged metropolis in the North Sea. The data reveals the scale of the civilization and invites us to dive into the detailed story of a culture lost to the depths of time. While the obstacles of researching submerged ancient cities continue, new finds in the Gulf of Khambhat and the North Sea remind us of the expanse of human history that remains to be discovered. The unintentional nature of these discoveries highlights the limitations and surprises inherent in archaeological study, encouraging us to stay open-minded and intrigued about the wonders hidden beneath the seas. As technology progresses and our understanding of maritime archaeology grows, sunken cities may disclose even more about our common human history, changing historical narratives and strengthening our linkages to previous civilizations. Discoveries of submerged ancient cities revealed Doggerland, which was once larger than several contemporary European nations and might be the true lost metropolis of Atlantis. Several speculations have pointed to the existence of Atlantis in contemporary northern Europe, with Bolus Rudbeck particularly arguing that Doggerland and the Viking Bergen Island, probably submerged by a mega tsunami following the Storegga slide approximately 6100 before Christ, may be the site. This notion dates back to the 1600s. Other theories include the Celtic Shelf, which has probable links to Ireland. Several locations have been proposed as potential locations for the buried metropolis. Still, there needs to be more remains to back up these claims, with many localities regarded as too tiny to hold a city as massive as Doggerland. These hypotheses and discoveries continue to feed the fascination with Atlantis, altering our conceptions of past civilizations and prompting us to reevaluate the potential historical relevance of the drowned world under the oceans. As scholars investigate the secrets of Doggerland, they discover a lost city and rewrite the story of Europe's ancient history. According to a historical study, Doggerland not only meets the criteria for the biggest ancient civilization on Earth, but might also be the elusive Atlantis. Submerged at once in history, Doggerland suddenly reveals incredible remains, offering light on a once great but now unknown society. Dr. Bates, a geophysicist, describes Doggerland as Europe's true heartland. This large stretch was critical until increasing sea levels converted it into the UK shoreline we know today. The idea of a lost land has stirred conjecture for years, with fishermen around the North Sea sometimes uncovering bones that suggested its presence. However, only through recent collaborations with oil firms have experts received unique insights into the vanished land's history. The data, first treated with mistrust, has proven useful in replicating Doggerland's look during its peak. As additional regions were explored, a huge and complex environment formed, allowing scientists to simulate the vegetation and wildlife. This has created a realistic portrait of the ancient people who previously inhabited this submerged land. Furthermore, it has given insight into the dramatic events that created the region, such as increasing sea levels and a deadly tsunami. The study initiative is a collaboration between St. Andrews University and numerous other universities, including Aberdeen, Birmingham, Dundee, and Wales Trinity St. David. This interdisciplinary method, which includes specialists from numerous professions, demonstrates the level of skill necessary to uncover the mysteries buried beneath the waters. As the crew dives deeper into their research of Doggerland, the ancient city gains new meaning. Surpassing its putative identification as Atlantis, it becomes a doorway into the past, a physical link to a lost world waiting to be discovered. The partnership with oil corporations demonstrates the potential for revolutionary discoveries when academic and industry sectors work together in the quest for knowledge. Doggerland tells a compelling story of resilience, adaptability, and transformation. Each discovery adds layers to our understanding of ancient civilizations, challenging conventional beliefs and deepening our relationship to history. While Atlantis remains a fabled mystery, Doggerland is a testimony to the depths of history under the seas, awaiting more investigation and discovery. Is Atlantis a real place? The existence of Atlantis as an actual location still needs to be proven. There must be actual proof to prove its existence. Plato, an ancient Greek philosopher, initially detailed the myth of Atlantis in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. However, it is usually assumed that Plato used Atlantis as a fictitious allegory to teach philosophical and moral principles, rather than representing a real-life site. Despite widespread conjecture and countless ideas, no archaeological finds or genuine historical records have been discovered that establish Atlantis's existence indisputably. Many theories propose potential locations for Atlantis, including the Mediterranean, Caribbean, and Antarctica. However, these recommendations are primarily hypothetical and require more robust data. What country was the lost city of Atlantis from? Plato's dialogues. Timaeus and Critias described Atlantis as being beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which are widely connected with the Strait of Gibraltar. Plato did not, however, specify the nation or location from where Atlantis came. Plato regarded Atlantis as a great and advanced society, but he did not associate it with any specific nation or existent government of the time. Instead, he depicted Atlantis as a fictitious island kingdom that occurred in the distant past, around 11,000 years ago. Various hypotheses and speculations have evolved throughout the years about the likely location of Atlantis, with proposals ranging from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean and even Antarctica. However, as previously stated, there is no agreement or conclusive evidence to establish any nation or location as the birthplace of Atlantis. Atlantis's real nature and location, if it existed, are unknown and continue to be debated and speculated upon. While many people still believe the lost city of Atlantis is a conspiracy idea, several research studies indicate that the story is based on true occurrences. Ocean explorer Robert Ballard sees logic in the account since it resembles a huge volcanic explosion on the island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea near Greece. Ballard claims that a highly advanced culture that existed there vanished abruptly, much like Atlantis. Similarly, Ignatius Donnelly verifies the presence and disappearance of a mid-Atlantic continent in the same place that Plato indicated. As the argument persisted, a few academics argued that this ideal kingdom was a continent of the Bahamas that the Bermuda Triangle eventually swallowed up. At the same time, another group proposed that modern Antarctica is a newer form of Atlantis. Meanwhile, James Romm, a professor at Bard College in Annandale, New York, believes Plato devised the fable to express some of his philosophical views, particularly his vision of a perfect civilization. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more information.